Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and wow, frosty but sunny morning. Emerald and I came in from Ripley today. I had my sunglasses on, and she's too short. She was blind for about 10 minutes coming in. That sun was really bright, wasn't it?
It was.
It's beautiful, just coming up on the horizon there, and really, it's supposed to be a really nice day. Hard to believe, here we are, December 10th, and the weather is still holding. One less day of snow, huh? Of course, maybe it'll end up at the other end, I don't know. But Frosty, don't do what I did. If you're still home and thinking about getting out today, make sure you give yourself a couple extra minutes or push that start button that starts your vehicle up and warms it up, because it took me a while to get the ice off ours. It was like 23 degrees and whew, crunchy. Well, good morning wherever you are in the world. Good afternoon wherever you are in the world. And gosh, good afternoon for those of you that are listening to me on WRFA 107.9, Low Power to the People, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Thanks for listening in. We've got a good show once again. We always have a good show, and I say that all the time, don't I? We have a very interesting show. There's a little change, because we're going to be talking about something to think about seriously for the holiday season especially, and so that's just a teaser right now. We'll get to my guest here shortly. But thanks for listening in, and shout out to our friends over in the Ukraine. Shout out to my crew. Half my crew is in Hawaii. Boy, tough job. Maybe we'll hear from.
I said I'm here.
You're here. That's right. We're hanging tough. The others, they finally got a well-deserved vacation, but they've returned to Hawaii, and maybe we'll hear from them somewhere along the line. All right. So we got a small crew, but mighty here today. All right, let's see what I got here. So anyways, if you're listening wherever you are in Europe, over in Asia, down in throughout the United States, welcome and good morning. Remember, if you want to see the show again, you can always watch it again at 2 and 8 every single day here on Spectrum 1301. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook. We are everywhere. All right, and throughout the week, you can send me any announcements that you may have. And I know that Jeff's taking a call right now, but he'll pop this up shortly. But you can send an email to us at chautauquasunrise@gmail.com, and we'll get your announcements on the air. Now you might say, what would I share with you? If you have a special event during the Christmas holidays, a fundraiser, a birthday, an anniversary, whatever, that's cool. And we'll get it on for you free of charge. Also, if you want to call in during the show, I already got a caller we're going to talk to in just a second. You can give us a call at 716-753-5225. And the standard drink, we're not ready for that yet, but we will pop up the phone number here if you do want to call in. 716-753-5225. And now, live from Hawaii, my good friend, Randy Burt. Randy, good morning.
Aloha.
Aloha. What time is it there?
I got a question. Why do you come on so early? I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're already up chirping like a bird.
Randy, you should be used to getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Isn't that what time you get up to do all the photography you do?
I don't.
Hey, how's the weather over there? I hear it's pretty nice.
It's nice. It's windy. The wind's driving us nuts because it just echoes through this whole hotel. Every little crack, it's like a whistle. It's terrible.
You're on the
whole hotel.
You're on the 25th floor, I read.
Yeah, we're right up on the moon there.
We're way up there.
So, but we're doing okay, except for I got something in my throat. I got San Francisco, and I messed my hand up on the airplane trying to get comfortable from San Francisco to LA or to Honolulu. It's like carpal tunnel or something. It's hurt all week. So I've been miserable, but we're doing good. We drove around the island yesterday. Today we're going to try our luck snorkeling.
Good. Well,
Get to it and
travel is tough on the body.
Kids went and played with the dolphins the other day.
Good. Okay.
So
when are you coming back?
If I don't die, I think we leave here like Wednesday night.
Okay.
Get back Thursday.
All right, because we're going to need you next week. You got another big show coming.
So who do you got today?
We have Melanie Witowski from Prevention Works. We talk about that all the time here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Melanie.
Hello.
He's in Hawaii right now.
I'm jealous.
I'm going to let you go. Keep Emerald awake. And
Emerald's here, yeah.
Justin's laying there probably ready to kill me for waking him up.
I'd like to say hi to Justin. Is he there?
Justin, he wants... Hi, Doc.
Hi, Justin, we miss you.
He misses you. So we'll let you go, but it's pretty wild. There's a lot of people over here. The other night I took a bus to Wally World, and all the streets were shut off down by the International Marketplace. Had a hostage situation, which I guess didn't end pretty nice.
You're having all the fun. Hostage situations and volcanoes erupting. How cool is that?
I hear the volcano's under control now. So,
all right, good job. Good job.
Except for the sky being really hazy a lot. I haven't seen a good sunset yet. The sunrises are awesome. Sunsets have all been done.
All right, well, I hope you feel better and have a safe trip back, and we'll see you next week, okay?
Well, I'll try to be there.
All right.
Take care.
All right, thanks for calling. Okay, folks, that was Randy Burt and Justin, who is trying to sleep, I guess. They're calling us from Hawaii. Wow. I'm still amazed. I remember as a kid just looking at a map and thinking, oh, look, we're traveling with my family to this point on the map, and there we are. And I always think that was cool. Now we're streaming around the world, talking to people that are, I don't even know how many thousands of miles, all 4,000 miles at least away from where we're sitting right now. So way cool. So glad to hear from those guys, and hopefully they're having a good time. All right, so what else we got going on here? I hope you're getting your Christmas shopping done, and remember to shop local and shop small if you can. The Chamber of Commerce reminds us that there's a lot of great opportunities here in Chautauqua County to purchase things for Christmas that are probably someone that you know, someone you love might want. And also remember, you can buy decorations for your tree and things like that. My wife was in charge of decorating the tree this year, and I think she put 6 ornaments on. When I decorate the tree, there's like hundreds. But we're watching my daughter's dog, and so that's her excuse. She thinks that the dogs would take the ornaments off. So we'll give her a pass this year. But next year, more ornaments, more ornaments. Oh, well, every year it's a little different, isn't it? Speaking of my wife, I know this is going to seem hard to believe, but I want to wish her happy anniversary tomorrow. We're going to be been married. I know this is hard to believe. 41 years. What the heck? I remember going to people's anniversary parties like for 25 and think, wow, that was pretty old. And then 40 years. And so here we are sneaking up into the, looking at 50 down the road. So I was like, wowza, how's that possible? Well, when I look at my kids and they're all starting getting gray hair, I think, well, it is possible. Anyways, Barb, happy anniversary, and we'll hopefully do something special tomorrow. All right, and that's how we do things. If you have an announcement like that, give us a call. What else we got going on here? Oh, I want to do a shout out to Lakeshore Center for the Arts. Last week I attended the Harvest Moon, written by Rick and Scarrow. It was a really, really nice job. They portrayed 6 different individuals from Westfield and their background from the past. And so what they for instance, Vincent Powers, and you all remember Reed Powers, many of you that used to watch the Senior Report long ago before this show was in this time slot. And Reed would always talk about his relative that won the Kentucky Derby. Well, it was true. Vincent Powers actually did win the Kentucky Derby. He was from Westfield, and he was a relative of Reed Powers. And so Kelly Matthews portrayed Powers. And so I call it historical theater that Harvest Moon is, and they portray these people and talk about their lives and the achievements they had and so forth. It was really well done. So good on you guys. Good job. More productions coming up into the new year, I know, and I've already been contacted for some new project. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Okay, what else is going on? Did that. Oh, okay. Let's talk about some things that are going around in the area, and then we're going to get to my guest who's anxiously waiting to get on here. All right, Christmas in Ripley today, December 10th. All right, I'm going to go through the lineup real quick. Meters is offering pancake and eggs breakfast from now till 11:30. I believe they're doing a chicken barbecue as well. Coffee on Main Street, that's Coffee on Main. They got some specials going on till noon. At the Ripley Library, they have a vendor show from 9 to 4. They got people offering all kinds of really fun and exciting products and things you can buy for Christmas from 9 to 4 throughout the library. Last count, there was over 13 vendors, I think, so that'd be really nice. And they're going to have face painting at the library for the kids from 9:30 to 11:30. Noah's Ark, which is like a clothing store at the Presbyterian Church, is going to be open from 10 to noon. Reason for the Season, a short movie will be at the Presbyterian Church from 10 to 12. The Santa Parade lineup starts at noon, and they're going to step off at 12:15. So the parade is going to go through the main part of downtown Ripley. Everybody's having parades. I think that's awesome. I think that's like the 5th parade I've announced so far this season. So great. They're going to have alpacas at the fire hall. That's a new one. I don't remember alpacas. 12:30 to 3, face painting at the fire hall. So they're going to leave the library and they're going to head over to the fire hall from 12:30 to 2. Santa at the fire hall from 1 to 4. And don't tell Brody, but pet pictures from 3 to 4 as well. Cooney's Ice Cream is open at 1 o'clock. Main Street Pizza is decorating cookies from 1 to 4. The Mennonite Church Singers from the Methodist Church at 6 p.m. They're going to be presenting a program there. And a non-denominational candlelight service at the Methodist Church at 6:30. And yours truly will be working with the band that I'm in, the Midnight Crawlers. We will be at the Brew Chamber at the Mill, which is sort of kitty corner to the fire hall in Ripley. We're going to start at 6 o'clock, and we're going to be playing, well, until they tell us to stop. So we're looking forward to that. It's a new venue there in Ripley. Really nice. Adam Chambers and company has done a lot of renovations there, and call it a industrial feel. It's really cool. It's gotten some good reviews. So come out if you're anywhere near Ripley. Things are going on all day. And this is an announcement for next week. I'm going to jump over to our neighbors in Westfield. I have a little bit of information that next week, December 17th, they're going to have the Westfield Cookie Tour. It's a new tradition. Many stores and restaurants will be offering fresh baked cookies and other treats, including hot toddies. You will find great deals, specials, and promotions. So that's next weekend in Westfield. All right, let me continue on with announcements, and let's start with this one. Shop local CHQ gift cards. All right, now accepted over 165 local businesses. The Shop Local CHQ Chautauqua gift card would be a great gift or stocking stuffer for anyone on your list this season. These cards are available through the Chamber of Commerce and can be purchased for any amount between $5 and $500. That makes them just the right item for employee appreciation, a thank you to a teacher or service provider, or a friend, a family member who is hard to buy for. The recipient can use it for dining, shopping for gifts, household items, groceries, and at some local attractions. To make it easier to purchase Shop Local CHQ cards, gift cards, the Chamber is staffing its Jamestown office at 300 Main Street from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and its Dunkirk office at 10785 Bennett Road from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Wednesday. The Chamber will be closed December 23, so be sure to get your gift cards in advance. Processing order for multiple cards does take some time, so we urge you to call in advance. So here's the number. Get ready. 716-484-1101, extension 201. Or you can email Carrie Swanson at cswanson@chautauquachamber.org. Okay? So again, if you're interested in buying a local gift card, and which is really cool because they give you the whole list, 165 local businesses. If you've got a $50 gift card, you could go to dinner, you could buy something at wherever, and you're keeping the money right here in Chautauqua County. All right, let's talk about banshees. One of my favorite topics my grandmother used to tell me from Ireland. Slide 15, the Banshees of Inisherin, to show at the Reginald Nay Center for the Arts. In the Banshee movie, it's going to be shown Wednesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Two lifelong friends, Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell, find themselves at an impasse when one abruptly ends their relationship with alarming consequences for both of them. The film unites Gleeson and Farrell with Martin McDonagh, who directed them in Bruges and went on to helm 3 Bulwards. The Banshees of Inisherin is rated R and is 114 minutes long. Other upcoming movies are going to include a free showing. Okay, listen to this once again. A free showing of The Muppet Christmas Carol, December 17th, Saturday at 2 p.m. And lots of other movies. So see what's playing. Go to thereglanay.com. Tickets are usually $7, $6 for family movies, and an additional $1 for theater restoration. Box office, 484-7070. So lots of cool things going on over there. Events coming up. This weekend, the Chautauqua Regional Youth Ballet presents the Nutcracker at the Reginald Nay Center for the Arts. As I said, Barb and I saw this a number of years ago. Absolutely wonderful. I know it's going to be a different cast, but still, the Nutcracker is one of those endearing and everlasting shows that you'll really enjoy. The music's wonderful. It's going to be at the Reginald Nay Center for the Arts, 116 East 3rd Street. Performances are, let's see, hang on a minute. Well, you know what? It doesn't have Saturday, so I guess just tomorrow. Sunday at 3 p.m. There is something for everyone, including Midnight Battle with the Rat King and his army of mice, a growing Christmas tree with 1,000 lights, and wonderful dancing to all the music of Tchaikovsky. Tickets are $35 for adults, $20 for children under 12. But I'm guessing there's probably a show today, but it doesn't say that. So I'm guessing it's going to be at, I don't know. Give them a call at 484-7070. I don't want to give you misinformation, so give them a call at the box office and they'll tell you for sure about today. 484-7070, but tomorrow definitely at 3 p.m. Great show. Then December 10th, today, Light Up the Point Christmas celebration throughout the day at various locations in Bemis Point. Celebrate the Christmas season with holiday shopping, horse-drawn sleigh rides, cookies and cocoa, and a visit from Santa. He's coming from Ripley over to Bemis Point, evidently. There will also be a parade, another parade, through the center of the village with lineup starting at 4:45 at the tennis courts at Sunnyside Drive. For more information, you can go to the Bemis Point, probably Chamber of Commerce or Village website. Okay, December 10th, that's today. Salaron lights in the park and annual tree lighting from 3 to 6 today at Lucille Ball Memorial Park, 21 Boulevard in Salaron. Another lighting. Stop by the village's log cabin for kids' crafts, hot cocoa, and to meet Santa. He's making the rounds today. At 6 p.m., the festivities will move outdoors for the annual tree lighting, holiday music, and inaugural lighting of the park. Sounds great. Okay, and then if you are still looking for something to do today and tomorrow, you can go up to Buffalo, my birthplace, and you can go to the Hofbrauhaus. And if you haven't been there before, it's really cool because what they're doing is they have 25 different vendors. No, strike that, 31 vendors. And they have an old-fashioned German, European style Christmas market. And what they are, these little buildings, and they offer a variety of really cool things, including authentic German items, gingerbread, cookies, specialty foods, glass and jewelry, soaps, Bavarian gnomes, which are really popular right now, hand-painted glass, pickles, artisan pet treats, I'm just jumping around here, custom purses, candles made in recycled bottles, Christmas cards, and a whole bunch of stuff. And that's going on, I believe, starting at noon through the evening. And Barb and I are going tomorrow. I'm just about positive. So it's up in Buffalo. Just look it up at the Hofbrauhaus. And they've had some great weekends already. And it's going to take place next weekend as well. But this week and next week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Hofbrauhaus in Buffalo. Okay, we're going to take a breather. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. My guest will be on next.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Okay, it's that time of year, and everybody's excited about that time of year. Growing up, this time of year was the time of the year that my father used to stock up on spirits and beverages, and Mom would be cooking cookies and baking and all that sort of thing. And it's also the time where we got to be really, really thoughtful and careful on how we approach the holidays. And I do remember that alcohol and spirits were always on tap, and that there were times that, people overindulged and got hurt. So today we're going to be talking about Melanie Witowski, who's the executive director from Prevention Works here in the county, and we're going to delve into this topic about the holidays, some things to think about, seriously think about, and she's got some ideas for us to think about how to handle the holidays. How's that for an introduction?
Yes,
Fair enough?
That's good, yes.
Melanie, you've been with Prevention Works for a long time, right?
I started back in 2005.
That's
as
a considerable time.
As a community educator, and then worked my way up to the Director of Program Services, and then for about 6.5 years now, I've been the Executive Director.
Okay, it's been a little while since you've been on the show.
Yes.
I don't even know what we talked about. I'm sure it was similar. I remember you used to be called something else, and then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, you were Prevention Works. So what was the old name?
So our previous name was Chautauqua Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Council. Often we were referred to as CASIC. And so we're very big on using acronyms in our county.
Yes.
And so there were a couple reasons why we made that switch and that transition. One of them was because you hear CASIC, there's also something called a KSAC. Mm-hmm. And a KSAC is a credentialed counselor. Oh. And so that's the term utilized by New York State Office of Addiction Services and Support. So there was
that's
kind
a
of
mouthful.
yes it is. And so it was kind of this battle between what is it, CASIC, KSAC. So that was one of the issues. But probably the bigger issue is what the community thought we did. So when you hear Chautauqua Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Council, you think counseling.
Right.
Some
And immediately people shut it off.
Yes.
Click.
Yes.
Not for me. Oh, we're talking about that again. Click.
Yep.
You talked about that in school. I don't want to talk about it. Click. Yeah, I got it figured out. Click. Right? Am I right?
Yes, well, absolutely. And I remember being in the schools and providing a wellness fair, and we'd have our table set up with our name on it, and we'd have people that just would walk by. And really, our services are for everybody, because really our goal is to prevent problems or addiction with substance use, whether it's alcohol or any other substances. And we focus a lot on youth. And so we got a public kind of cry basically stating that we shouldn't be providing counseling in our classrooms. And so we had to take a step back and say, that really is not what we do. We're really providing education to try to prevent our kids from getting involved in these situations.
Now, stop me if I'm wrong. And you've been doing parenting classes too, right?
That's correct.
And
yes.
that's kind of a new thing, right? Or am I wrong? I mean,
well,
it seemed like you were doing a lot by Zoom during the pandemic.
Correct. Yes, we do a lot of. We've been doing parenting probably ever since I've been actually with the agency. We've transitioned into a different model or a different program, which is approved by the state. But yes, we do provide in-person parenting sessions as well as via Zoom. So it could be a hybrid model because sometimes.
But what I'm getting at, it's not alcohol and drugs. You guys have really expanded.
Yes.
I mean, we were talking before the show that we had Emily Van Way and some other folks on this summer, I think it was, and we were talking about the gay community and the issues in that. So that's
Correct.
part and parcel of what you all do too, right?
Absolutely. So I would say probably 20% of what we do is actually focuses on alcohol and other substances. Predominantly what we're focusing on is social emotional learning. We're focusing on life skills. So, how to teach our kids to be resilient in situations that they're in, how to build a self-esteem, making good decisions, how to, solve a conflict that you're dealing with, building relationships. So it's a lot of the whys of people starting to use alcohol and other substances.
I'm making the list here as you're going. I'm going, if you have an issue in any one of those areas, social, emotional, life skills, bam.
Absolutely.
You're predisposed to getting into alcohol.
Absolutely. Yeah, and our parenting program, I just want to circle back to that. Our parenting focuses on, how do I build relationships with my kids? What are some strategies I can use because of their behavioral issues? And so we know parenting is challenging. I have 2 kids, and it's tough. It's probably the hardest job anybody ever has, and nobody ever gets that perfect guide on how to do that. And our parenting programs really help.
When the baby comes out, they don't give you the book,
No,
right?
no.
Especially when they hit that 13, 14, 15.
Right.
So, hey, can you please take this kid back?
Yep, absolutely. And so a lot of our programs are geared towards parents that have kids 0 all the way through teenager years.
Yeah.
So it's things to help build resiliency and life skills and social emotional learning.
Okay, I want to kick off the discussion, and I want to start controversially. I didn't tell you I was going to do this,
Oh,
but
boy.
I've been saving this question for you for a couple months now. All right. Obviously, you're not encouraging drug and alcohol use that is other than responsible use. How's that for a starter? All right. With the new laws in New York State about, and you know where I'm going now, where the recreational marijuana use is permissible. Supposedly, the sale of certain amounts of marijuana is permissible, just like alcohol is. Does that make you guys crazy? That's my question, I guess. I mean, as soon as I saw these laws, I go, I wonder what Melanie in Prevention Works is thinking right now.
So, and I was expecting this question. Believe me, my husband and I said, I know he's going to ask this question.
I'll do better. I got another one.
So I'll be honest with you, this is a fight that we've been fighting for a while at Prevention Works. And, I think our biggest concern is, one, our youth. Because we know that the adolescent brain is not fully developed before 25 years old. And so kids are accessing these products. And a lot of it is high potency THC, with the edibles that are out there, although illegal as far as being edible, because there really isn't anywhere where it's past that. unfortunately they're getting it and getting access to it. So we have kids that are vaping THC products. School districts are, collecting them, and unfortunately, it's happening. As much as we want to say kids are not going to utilize it and smoke it, the reality of it is they
George
are.
Barella was on my show, our state senator, about a year ago, and we were talking about the new law, and he made that very point. He said, they just passed a law, where they are, the Assembly and the Senate in New York, and where do the edibles fall in? It's not covered. So you want to lay something like a brownie, the old joke, brownies and stuff. It doesn't cover that. So I mean, here there's all these different avenues. There's supposedly this dike or this this shield to protect people legally and stuff. But now there are all these loopholes that how do you even cover that? So where am I going to go with this? So let's go with the argument about gateway drug. All right. I grew up being told that marijuana was a gateway drug, as well as cigarettes.
Right.
Smoking cigarettes were both gateway drugs.
Right.
And to other things. So I understand if you're, 21 years old, 18 years old, I guess it's 21, you can drink legally in New York State, right? 21? I've
Yes.
lost track of what the ages are. When I was a kid, it was 18. So 21, so you're responsible supposedly for yourself. Now, you mentioned something about under 21, even actually to 25, you mentioned something about the development of the brain. So I know I'm really jumping around here, but I'm trying to separate the discussion for people that are older and supposedly responsible for whatever their behavior are, because their brain development is pretty much done. Now we got younger people who are partaking in using drugs, but don't realize that their brain is in a situation that's going to be stymied and damaged for life.
Absolutely. I mean, when we take a look at the brain and the prefrontal cortex, like that's the last part of the brain that actually fully develops.
Let me see if I can say it right. The amygdala?
The amygdala is an important part of the brain as well.
Okay.
So what happens during the teenage years is that amygdala actually expands and gets bigger. And so basically that controls a lot of the emotional feelings that we have. So if a teenager goes and has some marijuana or cannabis, whatever we want to call it, and likes that feeling, they're more apt to use it again than, say, an adult that has a brain that's fully developed. So they are, I don't want to say, what's the correct word, but they're predisposed.
Right.
They're more vulnerable because of that. So what happens is, if you look at the rates of addiction and the majority of people that are struggling with substance use disorders, the majority of them are going to tell you they started using when they were 13, 14, 15, 16. Rarely will you find somebody that has a fully developed brain becoming addicted at 23, 24, 25, if they're using marijuana.
All right, you said addicted. Is marijuana addicting?
So this is my opinion. I know there's a lot of different opinions surrounding that. Yes, I believe it's addictive. And the reason I say that, when I was actually implementing programming at Prevention Works, now being an executive director, I don't necessarily do that, but I was working with a college student, and this individual said they could not function without it in their system. They were dependent on that substance. They couldn't go to school. They couldn't get their work done unless they had that in their system.
Now, people are watching right now and say, I use marijuana every day, and I use it. I can not use it for a week or two, or use it in the way that they would enjoy it responsibly as an adult. So they might say, I'm not addicted. So I'm assuming there's addictive personalities, and there's people just like with alcohol. You can drink it and you're fine. Other people, they use it and they're alcoholics.
Right. And it depends on what's the amount that they're using. What are the negative consequences that are happening from that use? So if somebody's using it on a regular basis, what happens when they stop using it? Can they function without it? And that's a really big important piece of substance use. If they have to use a substance to get through a day, then that's something that is really addictive personality. That's
So it doesn't matter if it's alcohol or marijuana or something else.
Absolutely.
So people got to be careful, period.
Absolutely.
So when you wake up in the morning and you've got to do whatever you got to do to get through the day, you got an issue.
Right.
Okay. It could be
Absolutely.
food. It could be whatever, right?
Right. Or they wake up the next day and feel like they can't function without that in their system.
Okay. So before we get to what you can do to help people, I want to talk about one more topic that comes to my mind right off the bat. All right. Only because I'm very aware of these situations in our community here in Chautauqua County and the surrounding area. So going back to the gateway drug idea, I'm going to start with cigarettes, all right? And people that smoke cigarettes, hey, I'm not going to argue. The medical research is there, you know. I lost a childhood friend to lung cancer, and he smoked like a chimney, and he died, all right? Other people use those cigarettes, and since they're smoking, they sometimes jump to marijuana, and then the next thing I know, there's fentanyl. The next thing I know, there's opioids, and tell me if I'm wrong, but the group that I'm seeing that are really having the biggest trouble, that are either getting addicted or dying, or that whole combination, is between 20 and 30. What's that all about? Am I right?
Yeah.
Every time I see a death, the first thing I do is I look at their age, and they're right in that spot.
Right. Well, and you bring up gateway drug. Is it a gateway drug? The way I always look at it, if somebody's going to a party or hanging out with a group of people and they're using a substance, whether it's marijuana or maybe it's pills, there's always going to be somebody that's going to bring additional substances. There's always going to be that someone that wants a higher high. Say this, you know, they're looking for something more than what that gave them. And the other piece with marijuana being a gateway drug, the other thing we have to take into consideration is it being laced with fentanyl. I know there's a lot of belief that by opening up dispensaries, we're going to have less people purchasing from the black market. That is completely false. And if you look at Colorado, that is not true. A lot of the drugs are still being purchased by the black market. So people have to be careful with where they're purchasing their substances.
All right. And here's an important point I want to make right now. And it was just in the newspaper, and again, going back to George Borello last time he was on, to my knowledge, as of today, December 10th, 2022, there is no licensed dispensary in New York State.
That's correct.
What the heck? I mean, the law's been on the books going on 2 years now or something like that.
Well, if you travel through, I'm going to say Irving, Salamanca, you're going to run into a lot of places that are selling it on the reservation, unfortunately. We're even getting some of that unique marketing that they're doing, such as you might see a bag of Skittles, but it actually is cannabis related. So they're actually mimicking like Doritos, but it's actually cannabis.
And here's my favorite promotion.
Yes.
Fill up with a gasoline, fill up your tank and get a free marijuana.
Right.
Right? Am I
Yes.
right? I've
Yep.
heard that one.
Yes.
So they're not selling it, it's just,
Right.
so they're kind of pulling you in to start
Right.
using.
Which that is illegal as well. You know, so I think this is only the start of our concerns. I think it's going to build up, and like I said before, my biggest concern is our youth. They are so vulnerable to a substance use, and we already are struggling in our county, as everybody knows, with overdoses that have been happening because of laced fentanyl or heroin, and there is a correlation between starting with marijuana and looking for a higher high, a bigger high than what marijuana originally gave them when they first started using.
Okay, 2 questions. What is fentanyl, and what do you think the percentage of marijuana use is by young people in Chautauqua County?
So fentanyl is, usually utilized when somebody's having surgery, but unfortunately there was just a bust, I believe, a couple days ago from the Jamestown SWAT team.
$500 million worth.
Yes, several grams of fentanyl that it could be just like a little pin drop that's added to a substance that can have an extreme effect and impact
this a
on an individual.
painkiller?
Yes, it is.
So it's a
opioid.
pharmaceutical that's supposed to be used for good things, but it's now
Correct. Being
used in marijuana.
Absolutely.
So somebody unknowingly...
Well, it could be used marijuana, it could be used in cocaine. It's
All right,
unfortunately.
so you could unknowingly buy some marijuana sticks, and somebody could put a little right in there.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you don't even know it, right?
Correct.
All right, so there's a different high there all of a sudden. Is fentanyl addicting?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hands down. And when we look at the difference between marijuana and fentanyl, obviously there's a big extreme because that's such a huge impact on the brain and what it does to the dopamine receptors. It's definitely a higher.
If I was smoking marijuana and I'd say, well, I got a good source. I'm not worried about it. I know these people. They assure me that there's nothing in there. Boy, that's really naive to me. And I hear this. My guy's legit. I know
Right.
everything's good.
Well, exactly. Especially when we talked about there's no legal licensed dispensary
Yeah.
in Chautauqua County right now. So where are they actually getting it? They're obviously getting it from the black market. So
Okay. And so percentage-wise, usage, you think?
percentage as far as youth.
Under 21, perhaps.
So we typically do what's called a community level youth development evaluation, which is done in school districts through Chautauqua
I
County.
remember when I
Yeah.
was superintendent, the kids took it.
So it's been about 2 years since we did it. So we're actually due for another one. But prior to COVID, the numbers were about 9-10% that had used in the past 30 days.
Okay.
Of course, lifetime use is a lot different, but typically that question, lifetime use, is a little bit higher because somebody might experiment, but it's really the one that's 30-day past use that we look at.
Okay.
Do we expect that number to be higher? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And these are kids that fill out a form that it's anonymous,
Absolutely.
and they are willing to say, yes, I've used it. I've
Correct.
used alcohol, I've done whatever.
Absolutely.
And that all gets compiled at a county level, and that gives you some statistics.
Absolutely.
And it's voluntary.
Yep, and so we also look at like individual schools, but that number that I'm giving you is across the
Right.
6-7 school districts that participated
So that's
at
1 in
that time.
10. That's a lot.
Yeah, and we actually were surprised to see that number. We thought it was going to be a little higher, especially once recreation or medical marijuana was approved. We thought that number was going to be up a little bit, but we do anticipate the new round of the Clyde surveys coming out this year. So we're expecting that number, unfortunately, to go up.
Okay, so we've talked about marijuana. We've talked about the fentanyl being laced in there. I want to tell me about opioids in Chautauqua County. I know, I don't want to say firsthand because that's not the word I want to use, but within rings close to our family, I have known individuals that have been in trouble with opioids. So I know that opioids are good pharmaceuticals for pain if used correctly, but that's not how people are using them, and it's killing people. And it seems to me these are more dangerous than the others. I don't know. Am I right?
Absolutely, and I think it's the misperception that it's healthy because it's a medicine, right? And I think that's something that we really need to take into consideration when people are supplying substances to their patients. Is what's some follow-up? What are some other pain relieving options can we utilize? Because I'm scared to death to take any opioids. If I were to have a surgery, I want to use that the least amount as possible. And honestly, the last surgery I had, I only had Tylenol with codeine.
Yeah.
That was it.
That
And
used to be standard.
it was fine. And I think it's being cognizant that somebody can be very vulnerable to addiction with these opiates. They're extremely powerful. They're extremely addictive. So if we can prevent, taking them if needed, and finding an alternate pain reduction product or situation, whether it's physical therapy, massages, other types of things that will help relieve some pain.
Okay. So tell me if I'm wrong on this one. I don't think I am. I don't see this so much with marijuana use, but I see this more with the harder drugs like opioids and so forth, cocaine. That I see people get addicted, and then they have to find a way to maintain that habit. And the habit grows, and then they either lose their jobs, they get divorced, they break up in their relationship, whatever, and now they're stealing, they're borrowing like profusely, and they need it not once a day, but multiple times a day, and their life is now around their opioid addiction and not about anything else.
Right.
Am I right on this? I've seen this.
Right, and I think when we look at our county, sometimes people think, oh, that's addiction, I don't need to worry about it, but in reality, anybody that's struggling with addiction, it's affecting our entire county.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, the criminal activity, the robberies that are happening, stealing of cars, all of that usually has a tie back to substance use. And so it's impacting all of us, and we really need to take a look at how we can improve our communities and our cities and help individuals as much as we can by connecting them to the resources that we have available.
You know, I've often said this, if if things were to continue the way they are, we don't have to worry about an outside nation conquering the United States. We're rotting from the inside out.
Yeah.
I'm watching young people die. I mean, I don't know. Not that I'm proud of them, but I'm sort of glad when I read an obituary, which sounds weird I'm saying this, where the family said he died of opioid addiction, and you know they're putting it out there saying this somebody else learned from this experience because it's happening.
Yep. And I wish more families would do that. A lot of people will kind of hide that, under the rug, that, they had a long-term disease, which they do. Substance use is a disease of the brain. But I think if more families would come out and be honest that that is the cause of death, because it affects everybody. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic status you are or race, it impacts every single type of individual out there.
Now, in any other kind of a medical situation, there's something called comorbidity. So I'm assuming with addiction, not only are you having a need for this craving, but perhaps you aren't eating correctly. It's affecting, I'm guessing, your heart, your muscular, your nervous system. Am I right on this?
Yeah, and we also look at co-occurring disorders. I mean, when we're looking at substance use, oftentimes there's mental health concerns that are correlating right along with that. Whether it's mental health that came first and then substance use, we often don't know, but it's a concern, and I think COVID really did some damage on a lot of people. And I feel like they're using that as an easy button. This is my easy fix, even just a random individual that was going fine, but COVID really damaged a lot of us, starting to use alcohol. I've heard some stories of individuals just drinking more alcohol than they normally would. It's they're finding that's the way they're coping. We need to find alternate ideas to help improve and cope with what we're going through, because it's still happening.
Okay. Unless you say something that's going to spark a question, I'm going to stop asking questions, because now I would like you to talk about what we started was holiday season's here, things that you might want to talk about, and services that Prevention Works provides. I'm going to be quiet for a while.
All right.
So go for it.
So this month we're doing a new campaign, and we're really taking the model from Stop DWI from the DMV from New York State. And so the new campaign, and I don't know if they can put it up on the screen, that we'll be kind of presenting. We will be putting a newsletter out there, but it's basically, if you feel different, you drive different. So whether we're talking about alcohol, cannabis, other opiates that somebody might be using, heroin, pills, even medication that you're prescribed. If you feel different, you're going to drive different.
Or angry.
Yes. Yep. Well, you bring up a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
But if you feel different, you're not your usual self.
Absolutely. So that should be your first indicator. If you're feeling different than you normally would, don't get behind the wheel. If we look at the standard drinks, we're going into these holiday parties, Christmas parties, New Year's Eve parties that are coming up. A lot of people don't realize what a standard drink is. And so I like to just kind of explain this. A 12-ounce can of beer is the same amount as a 5-ounce glass of wine that has 12% alcohol in it. And then 1.5 shot of 40% alcohol or 80 proof. So vodka, some of those more higher spirits, liquors that are out there. So if you're having a martini or a margarita, typically those will have 3 to 4 drinks in one glass. And so a lot of people don't realize that. And so just being cognizant as you're going out and having a gingerbread martini or whatever it might be, is to be mindful that just having one drink doesn't mean you're just having one drink all the time.
And they'll say, and very often say, I only had 3 drinks.
Right.
Yeah, yes. But it was like times 4,
right.
Right? Or they start doing shooters or shots or whatever, and they go, I only had 3 shots in a beer, and well, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think it's important to really take a look at what are the ramifications, what are my consequences if I choose to drive after I'm drinking. And I'm really talking to the adults that are 21 and older. If you look up the other screenshot that I have of what it costs if you're getting a
10 grand.
DWI. About 15,000.
All right.
You'll see those are just some of the costs, and that might be relatively low or high, just depending on the individual.
Okay, so I'm looking right now, and I can't read everything that's on there, so maybe you could highlight some of the costs that people aren't even aware of.
Yeah,
Of what's
so-
involved, if, this is DUI?
Yep, DUI.
Okay.
So you'll just see some towing fee. If your vehicle has to be towed, you can't drive it home. It's about $100 to $200 approximately. If you have a court cost, sometimes $75 to $200. You have to get an attorney, $1,000.
That's not cheap.
It just the list goes on. You have to attend the impaired driver program again.
Is this your first time offense?
It could be. It could be a second offense, but this is really from the DMV. If you look down at the bottom, that's the link where we got the information.
Oh, it says associated with first DUI.
First DUI, yes, it does. There it goes.
Because I think on
I
your
miss
third,
it.
I think your third DUI, you go to jail for like a while.
Yeah, so those are some concerns to look into. But not only that, but what's the cost of a life? That you can't
Damages
put
to
a
the car
dollar.
and to everybody else.
You can't put a dollar amount on a lost loved one, or an individual that is innocent and pays for, has to pay for their life by you drinking and driving or using a substance in driving. So just some other things I'd like to mention is that to have a plan. It's really important before you're going to these parties, before you're going to an event, is to have a plan. And if you actually go into Stop DWI, DMV, there's an actual app that you can download. And so that you can actually come up with, you can scan the code and it will actually give you step by step on some plans. Is there an Uber driver nearby? Is there a relative that can pick you up? Is there a younger adult that can be on standby if you need it? Have a plan, but also
Think ahead, before you go to a party.
Yeah, but also have a backup plan because oftentimes you will designate somebody as the DD, and then
They've been drinking.
yeah. So you have to have a plan and then a backup
Okay,
plan.
let's hold that thought. We have a caller.
Sure.
Good morning, caller.
Oh, good morning, Doc. This is Linda Spalding.
Hi,
Good
Linda.
morning, Melanie.
Good morning.
Congratulations on the work that you do. It's very important. It's very, very important.
Thank you.
It's so unfortunate that people are going through these dark times with their substance abuse, and they really need recovery. There's so much connected with it. You were speaking about fentanyl before. Isn't that what Michael Jackson died of, the fentanyl overdose?
I honestly can't remember what Michael Jackson died of.
I think it was
I think there
fentanyl.
I think you're right.
multiple substances,
Right.
if
But
I
I think
can remember.
fentanyl was in there somewhere,
Yeah.
That's really deadly.
Yeah, and it can be just a very tiny amount that's laced in different substances, and unfortunately, some people are doing it intentionally because they like that extreme high that it's giving them.
As I recall, Michael Jackson had gotten severely burned in that commercial, and that he was undergoing
Treatment therapy.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's correct.
And I think he probably got addicted because of that. I think that's the way the story went.
Yes, I think that's true, Doc, now that you mention it. I remember that.
Sad story for sure.
Oh, yeah, what a shame.
So, Linda, you ready for the holidays yet?
Oh, I'm, the holidays, Christmas always comes whether I'm ready or not. Hanukkah comes whether I'm ready or not. I celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, that's great.
Well, you can't have Christmas without Hanukkah.
They work
because
together.
Jesus is Jewish, let's remember that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a beautiful time of year, the season of light.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. How are you doing with Christmas?
Looking good. I can't spill the beans because I never know which one of my family members is listening, but we're getting there. House is decorated as much as it's going to be when we got 2 wild dogs running around the house. So. How are your dogs? You still got your dogs?
Oh, yeah, my dogs are fine. Yeah,
You got
they're
poodles,
happy.
right?
Yeah, 2 toy poodles, yes.
I haven't heard them in a while. Usually they're in the background yipping.
Well, one was growling a little bit a minute ago. He gets competitive with his younger brother.
Okay. All right, Lynn. Well, thanks for calling in.
All right, have a great weekend, and we can
All right.
enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, take care now.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so getting back to what you're talking about, have a plan. Okay. Kind of seems simple. And you know what? And I've shared this story. I drank like a fish in college. I have an addictive personality when it comes to alcohol, so I have to be, I don't drink. I learned that my lesson early. Also because my mother worked for the Buffalo Area Council on Alcoholism and kind of ruined it for me. But I realized that I came from a long line of drinkers. My uncles and my grandfather, I believe, had issues with alcohol. So I kind of thought about that for a while. Took a course in alcoholism in college, believe it or not. And so I seriously have not drank seriously since probably I was about 25. And that's what, 45 years ago or whatever. So I have to be very careful around alcohol. So I have been a designated driver for all those years. And try to encourage people not to have me because if they have me, they need me, and I don't want to be needed. So, you know, just to be careful. But yeah, I'm there for people if they need to be picked up or need a ride or something like that.
Right, because like I think it's not not if I'm going to get caught, it's when am I going to get caught. If you're taking that risk all the time, it's eventually somebody's going to get caught. And just one more thing I just kind of like to bring up and mention is, and there's the app that you can download right from the DMV. But one thing I'd like to also mention is just me being mindful of youth that are around you while if you're having a party. Don't just set a drink somewhere where a little kid can have access to it. Believe it or not, there's been situations where kids have gotten a hold of it.
So, say it's not true.
Yes. So be mindful, even of, and I'm not even talking about teenagers, even little ones. So just be mindful about where you're locating, you're placing your liquor in the area.
And your marijuana.
And your, absolutely. And your marijuana.
Because it's legal to have marijuana in your house now. But
lock it up. Lock it up.
but again, thinking about kids' brains and their development is different than an adult. It's simply different. And as adults, perhaps, you know, we're okay with it. But young kids, we got to be careful because it's not healthy for them.
Absolutely.
Melanie, we got 2 minutes left. Wow. So you had some upcoming events you wanted to share and some other things. And also we got to talk about how people get a hold of you, stuff like that. So go for it.
So we have our annual poster contest that's coming up this year. So we'll be getting information out to the school districts, the principals, art teachers, health teachers, and that is for anybody in Chautauqua County to participate. So if you're in 3rd grade through 12th grade, and we've been doing this for about 22 years now.
And I've been announcing it for 9.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. So it really is an opportunity for youth to have a voice and give their reasons why you shouldn't be using substances. So it's a great way to use positive peer pressure, really, being a positive influence. And students that participate get an opportunity to win some prizes. We actually have cash prizes for 3rd through 5th grade, 6th through 8th grade, and 9th through 12th grade. So we'll have a ceremony in April for that. And then the other thing is we have a fundraiser coming up called Poppin' for Prevention. So we're selling some different flavored popcorn, and it'll come right in time for Valentine's Day.
Really? Is that new?
We did it probably before COVID.
I don't remember this one.
Yeah, there's lots of different flavors. There's one of the favorite is a dill pickle flavor. Another one is a buffalo chicken wing flavor.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
So yes, so a lot of neat, unique ones right around, and you'd receive it right before Valentine's Day. So.
Okay. About a minute left, so this is really important. If someone's watching right now and they know somebody or they themselves are in need of services, how do they get a hold of you?
So we have 2 offices, one in Dunkirk and one in Jamestown. You can call us at 716-664-3608 or 716-366-4623. We are located at 509 North Main Street in Jamestown, right across from 7-Eleven. And then our Dunkirk location is located within the Resource Center on Lakeshore Drive at 186 Lakeshore Drive
And
West.
your services, how much does it cost?
Free. None of our services are a cost for people that are coming to our agency. So we do have contracts with school districts, which is different, but let's say your teenager is starting to experiment and use and you want them to see our educators, there is no charge at all.
Okay, and this is all private, right?
Correct, all confidential.
Okay, very good. Folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and my guest today has been Melanie Witowski, who's the Executive Director of Prevention Works in Jamestown and Dunkirk. So, word to the wise, it's on you folks, think about it. Get the designated driver, watch out for the young kids, and let's steer them in the right direction. And remember, we're not saying certain things are terrible. What we're saying is for young kids, it can be terrible because of developmental issues. And if you're using any of these drugs and you're doing it responsibly, okay, and that includes alcohol and other things. So please be careful with all these items and have a safe holiday season coming up. Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.